Hello, everybody. It's been such a long time since I had the time to be able to actually record a video. I think it was the summer of last year when I did my last video. And what occurred around the summer last year was Soul Center Healing Hypnosis just exploded. And I went from having probably about 10 people a month on my courses to running courses with 40 people on a month. And my world just became so busy because every month I was dealing with the admin of bringing 40 people onto a course. I was running the 3 live days. I was producing all of the certificates, dealing with all of the queries that new students have. And I became so busy that I just did not have any spare time at all to create any YouTube videos. Also, as well, I still carried on seeing my own clients. So it's been a really crazy few months. And it actually feels like since last summer, now is the first time I have had the opportunity to just breathe and to just reground and take stock of where I am and what is happening on the earth as well. Over the Christmas period, I decided that I couldn't keep working at the rate that I had been working because it was just too much. And so I recorded all of my training onto pre-recorded videos. And so now you can do the training without having to come on to the 3 live days. You can actually buy the training and do it in the comfort of your own home whenever you want. And there's still the option there every month to meet up with me if you wish and do some live training, but there's no obligation. You can do all of it yourself in the comfort of your own home. So what that means is I have now freed up a lot of my time. Instead of having to turn around these big training courses that I was doing every single month that absolutely wore me out. Now I have a lot more time to take stock and contemplate, and I have been really enjoying it. So since Christmas, I'm obviously still seeing clients, but because I'm not running the big training courses anymore, I feel like I'm connecting back into kind of where I was before I started Soul Center Healing Hypnosis. I'm starting to have time to actually connect to my own soul and intuition. And I just wanted to reach out to everybody really and just find out how you guys are feeling at this particular point in time. Because for me, since this particular year has started, so 2023, everything seems very different. Everything seems to have gone up a notch. Everything's changed. Very quickly on, I began having technology problems because of the energies that are coming from the sun. And those technology problems seem to have calmed down quite a lot now. But I had a lot of issues around 2/2, so around the portal of February. And there was one day where all of the planes in America were grounded. And that particular day, none of my recordings of my sessions actually worked. So this year, it has been constant in terms of the energies being released from the sun. And I guess that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today, is to see how everybody's feeling. So the sun has become very active for the first time in a long time. And it is in response to the return of the celestial body that many of us referred to as Nibiru. It's referred to as Medusa, the red dragon, wormwood, the destroyer, the brown dwarf, Nemesis, the neutron star, the great winged serpent, many, many names. But I remember seeing back in 2017 the signs in the heavens that something was here. And I know I've mentioned it a million times on my channel, but it was that day when I was out with my children and we noticed that you could look at the sun. The sun had gone dim and it was just like an orange ball in the sky. It was midday, so it should have been really bright, but yellow, because it was yellow then. And it went orange and we could look at it. And I remember my eldest child saying, Mummy, I can look at sun. It no hurt my eyes. And everybody was out in the parking lot videoing the sun, looking at it through their telephones. We were the only ones that were stood there looking at it with our actual eyes. And the next day, it was in the papers. Sand from the Sahara Desert wafts in front of the sun and causes the sun to dim. And everybody sucked it in and went, oh, yeah, it was the sand from the Sahara Desert, wasn't it? But those of us who know, we know. Anyway, that was 5 years ago. And that to me was our sun's recognition that this celestial body had gotten close enough to it that there was an exchange of energy between the two. And some of the energy from our sun was taken away from it and went to this particular celestial body that's returning. And then the next day we woke up and the sun was bright white, the whitest you have ever seen ever. So white that there was no way that you could look at it. Now, there's many, many people that believe that this is a sun simulator. And I must admit, part of me does believe that it's a sun simulator, that they placed it there when they saw that our sun had dimmed. They placed it there to stop us from seeing the return of Nibiru, to make the sun so bright that we can't see it, because Nibiru returns from the direction of the sun. Part of me also believes that it can be a reaction inside of the sun, that something started to burn brighter after that initial exchange of energy. So it could be the actual sun itself that looks white. I don't know. I've heard everything. I've heard everything. In my sessions, I've heard about the sun simulator. I've heard that it's the real sun. I've heard about the return of the reunion of the two suns. I've heard about Nibiru so many times in my sessions. So many times I've heard people referring to Nibiru. In recent years, I have gone back myself to reading the ancient texts, the prophecies of the Hopi, the beliefs of the Aztecs, the Mayan prophecies, the teachings and the things that were written down about Atlantis, about Lemuria, about the ancient Egyptians. And the Aztecs said that we're in the fourth sun age at the moment, and the fourth sun would end in cataclysm, and it would be brought, that cataclysm would be brought about by the fifth element, which is said to be ether. So the previous sun ages, according to the Aztecs, were ended by earth, water, fire, and air. So the four elements. And the fifth element is supposedly ether. And that is what is going to end the sun age that we're in now. The Hopi prophesized that on the return of the blue and the red Kachina, that the world as we know it now would end, and a new world would be born. The Mayans prophesized that the calendar would end in 2012. Some people say that it was misinterpreted and that it was actually 2048. But the Mayans knew that we were going to align with the galactic center, and at that point, the energies that we had access to would change. The ancient Egyptians knew about these times, as did the Atlanteans, the Lemurians. There is so much, the Sumerians, the Mesopotamians, there is so much information recorded about these particular times that we are heading into right now. There's lots of information contained within the Bible that refers to these times and discusses the Nibiru system as an ancient red serpent that's returning. It's referred to as a red serpent because it looks predominantly red. The energy of it looks red. And I believe that the Nibiru system is within the infrared spectrum. So that's why the Vatican has one of the largest infrared telescopes in the world. It's so they can view the return of this particular system. They can keep an eye on it because it's in the infrared spectrum. And regardless of what you believe about that, if you look at the changes on the Earth currently, I don't know whether you are aware of this, but many, many, many tabloids are reporting at this present time, and have been for the past couple of weeks, that the Earth's core has stopped spinning. So the Earth's core, apparently, according to the scientists, spins in a certain way, and it has stopped. They have noticed that it has stopped spinning at the same time as the mantle. The two spin at the same time, but they've noticed that the core of the Earth has stopped spinning. We've had some pretty significant earthquakes occurring over recent weeks. The auroras that can be seen all over the planet are increasing in their brilliance, and many of them are showing red as opposed to green. I know there are still green, but many of them are showing red. There's been some incredible red sunsets captured that are redder than anything anybody has seen for a long, long time. The sea levels across the planet are changing. People in Australia are noting that the sea levels are increasing, becoming higher. And then in other areas of the planet, around Europe and in Israel, it's been reported that the sea has disappeared, that the sea level has changed, that it's pulled further back. Now, everybody knows when the sea pulls back that normally that's an early warning sign of a tsunami. But nothing has occurred. One of the things that it says in the Bible is during these times that the seas will confuse man. And I can't remember the actual quote because it's been a long time since I knew what the Bible said. But that the seas would confuse man because nobody will be able to understand why they're doing what they're doing. Apparently, NASA has reported today that there is going to be widespread, put my teeth back in, widespread flooding around the planet because the position of the moon has changed. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Whether you believe the position of the moon has changed or not, why would NASA say that there's going to be widespread flooding around the planet due to the position of the moon changing? There are so many Earth changes occurring now that they have got to find a significant reason to explain why these things are occurring. How does one explain where the sea has gone when it's disappeared? They could probably explain the sea rising in certain places by saying that there's been a vast heating up of the Earth, and because of that, the ice caps have melted and the sea has risen. But how do they explain the sea disappearing in other places? So we have a lot of significant things going on the planet. They have reported multiple solar flares from the sun since this year has begun. And last week we had an X-class flare come from the sun that was one of the biggest that we've had in a long time. And each one of these new flares that have been released have been absolutely knocking me out. And they have made me ill as well. They've sent my kids crazy. My kids are just full of energy, running around like little Duracell batteries. They're loving it. Whatever this new energy is, they are responding well to it. But for me, who is absolutely shattered, it's made me an even deeper level of shattered. So we've got all of these flares coming off of the sun. We've got sunspots appearing all over the sun. And if you look back through the ancient texts, one of the signs that Nibiru is about to return is that they say that the sun's face blackened. The sun was full of spots. And they described it as the sun becoming angry. You know, an angry face because its face is full of spots. And we're starting to see these sunspots occurring on the sun. The sun is becoming very active and releasing lots of energy and plasma in response to the return of the Nibiru system. Now, there's many people that report that the Nibiru system, or the Nemesis system, is a neutron star in the middle that has 5 planets and 7 moons. And that can be connected to ancient scripture as well, that I believe is in the Bible. When they talk about the fiery red serpent coming out of the sea, what they mean is they're looking at the horizon and they can see the Nemesis system coming up. Fiery red in the middle, which is the neutron star, surrounded by, and I think it's referred to, it's got 5 heads and 7 horns or something. I know everybody's going to correct me on that because I will have got it totally wrong. You will have to forgive me. I am not religious. But I do remember there's a quote around that, and it refers to the planets and the moons that is around this particular system. Now, I follow a few people on Facebook that talk about this, and I've seen footage through a telescope, through an infrared telescope, of the Nemesis, or the Nibiru system. And it is there. Well, the footage shows that it's there. And apparently this system can only be seen at the moment through an infrared telescope in the southern hemisphere of the planet. But I would ask all of you, as we're considering this, what could it be? What could it be that is so strong that causes the oceans to move on the planet, that causes all of these earthquakes, that causes us to feel so exhausted and so discombobulated? What could it be that is so strong, that is causing the moon to change its position in relation to the Earth? What is it that's causing the Earth's magnetosphere to fail? Because that's what's beginning to occur. What is it that's causing the poles to migrate? Because that is also what's occurring at the moment. People that are plotting the poles on the planet are noticing a migration. And that migration has stalled at the moment, but they were daily starting to move. It has paused. What would cause all of those things to occur? What could cause all of those things to occur? I mean, the oceans is a big one, isn't it? What's powerful enough to cause the oceans to move? It's magnetic force. And all of these sessions that I've done over the years that have spoken about ascension, that have spoken about the role that Nibiru and the Nibiru system plays in ascension, they've all pointed to this time, to the time of the Great Shift. And for me, it goes back to everything on a macro is reflected in the micro and vice versa. And it's mitosis of a cell. It is a new cell being born. In my opinion, and it is just my opinion, it is a hypothesis until it can be scientifically proven. But in my opinion, from all of the things that I have heard over the years, all of the information that I've read myself over the years, all of the higher selves of people that I've connected to, all of the beings that I've connected to, we are moving into the finale. We're moving into those times where it cannot be denied for much longer that something is occurring. Those of us that are awake, we've known for a good long while what is occurring. And yes, the dates have always been off. But that's because when you connect to higher consciousness, everything's happening in the now. So nobody can interpret the dates. But it has gotten to a point now where it is undeniable that things are occurring. And we have two energies here that are being given the opportunity to progress throughout their journey of all that is in their chosen polarity of experience to return back to the Godhead. You've got those that choose service to self, that want to be completely selfish, that are obsessed with power and control. And they are doing the things that we all know they're doing on the planet. And then you've got those of us that are wanting to evolve as humans, and we want to ascend to the next dimension of experience. And that is being provided for us. We're coming up to that cataclysmic moment, I feel, that catalyst that will send both of the chosen paths of energy on their way. I was teaching this to my students last week, the evolution of lifetimes, reincarnation, and the purpose of colour. And it is my belief that as humans, we are white light fractalized out into the colours of the rainbow, which are represented by our energy body. And through our emotions and traumas, one of our colours becomes impacted, becomes full of pain. And when that particular colour becomes full of pain, we magnetize an energy which is a lower frequency energy than the ones that we can see in the visible spectrum. I believe these energies exist in the infrared spectrum. These energies attach to our pain-filled light and siphon it off into their dimension. And that's essentially what soul center healing hypnosis is. It's the acknowledgement that we have an energetic body as well as a physical body, that we are light, that we are white light fractalized out into the colors. And when one of your colors gets taken away by an entity, you no longer have access to the full spectrum of color anymore. And therefore your body becomes diseased in that area. What we have to do is take that entity off so that your color energy is no longer being siphoned away, plug it back in, and that will bring harmony back into the body, as well as past life regression and higher self. All of that is contained within soul center healing hypnosis. but it massively acknowledges the power of the energy body. We are a rainbow, and you in this incarnation have access to a rainbow inside of you. But you exist in every single colour of that rainbow right now. You have various incarnations going on in the colours of the rainbow. The entire universe is frequency, energy, and vibration. So when we begin our incarnations, we're focused on the red energy, the root, on survival, the elements, on our basic needs being met. And so these incarnations will be your classic bottom of the chain incarnations, things like insects and creatures in the bottom of the ocean and shoals of fish, all energies that are focused on survival, root energy. Once you've cycled through those incarnations, you move into the orange incarnations. So the sacral energy, the orange incarnations are stepping into that awareness of not just your basic survival needs, but also joy, recognizing that there is joy there to be had. You don't just have to be concentrated on surviving. There's also joy to be had. Procreation. There's also sex to be had. And animals slowly progress through their incarnations of experiencing those energies. And, you know, a dog and a cat would be a classic example of some of the top incarnations of that band of the orange energy. Cats spend all day having fun or thinking about sex. Well, my cat does anyway. So does my dog. You know, they get joy from obviously the basic survival needs, their food, but they recognize that joy is to be had. They chase their tail, they chase a ball, they play. They're starting to look for love and affection. They're starting to think about themselves as a separate entity, as opposed to some of the other animals that have more of a herd mentality. They are earlier incarnations in that orange ray. When you move up into the yellow ray, that, in my opinion, is the human incarnation. Because when you move up into the yellow ray, you're starting to think about confidence, being individualized, and power and control. So where we're at here now, humanity has got two paths, two journeys leading off from the yellow ray. We've got a whole group of humans that have become completely immersed in that yellow ray. They are obsessed with power and control. All they want to do is to control everybody, to be the top of the tree, and they will do whatever they want in order to make that happen. Whereas we've got a group of humans that have been in the yellow ray, that have experienced that yellow ray, that understand all about confidence, that understand all about power and control, but they've decided that they don't want to control other people. They don't want to stay trapped in the yellow ray. They want to progress. They want to evolve into the green ray. Green ray. Green. Which is the heart energy, which is the next expression that we're moving into, which is the next expression that Gaia is moving into. The green ray energy, heart energy. Got two camps of people, service to self, that are absolutely happy staying within the yellow ray energy and trying to control everybody in that yellow ray. And then you've got a group of humans that have done the yellow ray. They've done it to death. They've found all of the lessons within that yellow ray. And they've realized that controlling other people is not the way. That love is the way. And they are ready to progress into the green ray, into the next expression of being, into the evolved man or woman, which will experience the green ray. That is where I believe we are going. So this period of time that we're in now is very, very significant, because until we split off, until we separate off, you've got those humans and beings that are obsessed with the yellow ray, power and control, trying to hold on with all of their might to that timeline, that vehicle of expression of polarity. And then you've got those of us that have done with the yellow ray. We understand its purpose. We've experimented with all of it, but we're ready for the green ray. And these celestial events are occurring now in order to provide us with the catalyst that we need to split off into our different dimensions. And I believe everybody that's left in that yellow ray, in the third dimensional space, that is obsessed with power and control and dominance, I believe they will see all of these events play out with the return of Nibiru and all the cataclysmic events on the planet. And I believe those of us that want to ascend and are ready to move into the green ray energy, we will just be magnetized into that higher frequency band of energy. And that is what we are moving into. That is what we have in front of us. I believe over the next few days, weeks and months, we are going to see some very significant changes on the earth. Very significant. It's already happening now. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to make this video today was to encourage everybody all over the world who is aware of these events locally to them. Please tell me about them. I'm connected to many, many people all over the world because of my students, and I've heard a lot of people telling me about what's going on in their areas where they are. But I'd like to get a bigger picture of what's occurring. I mean, I've done a lot of my research in recent weeks by looking at videos and pictures that have been shared on social media. But I am well aware that all of that stuff could be AI. It could be AI videos. So what I want to know is where you are based. Have you seen any issues with the oceans? Have you seen the oceans receding? Have you seen the oceans increasing? Are you in any areas that have had strange things happening with the weather, strange things happening with the animals? My chickens haven't laid eggs for 6 months. That's something that's actually happening to me where I am. Why? Why haven't my chickens laid eggs for 6 months? And it's nothing to do with their feed, because we feed them all sorts. It's all organic. A lot of it is vegetable scraps from my garden and things that I grow, and food scraps that we don't eat. It's all organic. They get fed a whole variety of different things. So I don't believe it's to do with their food. Why haven't my chickens laid eggs in 6 months? I've seen videos of animals behaving strangely all over the world. I've seen videos of animals and fish and marine life in the oceans behaving strangely. I've seen videos of floods, earthquakes, volcanoes. I've seen videos of the sea receding in certain places and the sea level rising in other places. But I want to hear from you guys, from the real people. What is going on in your local area? And let's try and build a picture regarding what is actually happening. Because I really do feel, having listened to reports of this for years, I really do feel that something significant is physically starting to happen now. So I'm going to leave you with that thought now, because I've got my second client of the day now. I had a client this morning. I just had a little window of time to record a video, and now I'm going to move on to my second client. Keep vibrating high. Make sure your diet is nice and clean where you can, where possible. Make sure your water is free of fluoride. Make sure you've pushed all of the metals out of your body. Make sure you're doing or you have done a candida cleanse to push out all of the crap that's in our own universe. Don't forget you've got a universe inside of you. Look at the areas of your energy body. Connect them to your traumas. Is there an area of your energy body that you potentially might have an entity? Is there an area of your energy body that you don't have access to that colour? And if you don't, you need to bring that colour back in order that your entire energy can work together as white light. Don't forget you have an energy body. Most people do not consider that. They just think of themselves as a physical body and that is it. That's why this hypnotherapy modality is so important, because it acknowledges the energy body and the importance of having a healthy energy body on the health and well-being and vitality of the physical body. The body, the mind and the soul, body, mind and soul are all connected. The emotions that the mind feels has an effect on the energetic body and the physical body. Make sure you're looking after all parts of you. I'm going to try and post more often this year because I have got more time now. So the next time I post, I promise you, I will do a really fabulous high frequency vlog. So the next time I see you guys, make sure you keep vibrating high. See you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.